the power of digital India. Have a look.
I'm coming.
Go for your friend's party later. First find a good college for you.
Relax. I can provide you information on all AICTE approved colleges.
Admission is fine, but can I get some scholarship?
I can tell you which scholarships you are eligible for, and the younger one can also access exam results and all school textbooks through me.
मुझे कितनी तकलीफ होती है हर साल अपनी पेंशन पाने के लिए और ये बताने के लिए कि मैं अभी जिंदा हूँ।
माँ जी, मेरे पास इसका भी इलाज है। आप घर बैठे ही जीवित होने का प्रमाण दे सकती हैं।
भगवान, जरा सी खांसी, 600 रुपए की दवाई।
मेरे फार्मा सही दाम सेवा से आपको पता है एक ही दवाई 50 से 600 रुपए तक की बिकती है, और अब तो अस्पताल में दिखाने के लिए घर बैठे अपॉइंटमेंट ले लो।
आप तो शहरी लोगों के चोचले हैं।
आप अन्नदाता हैं, आपका ख्याल रखना हमारा फर्ज है। आपके लिए फसल बीमा योजना है, सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड है, मंडी के और वैज्ञानिकों से खेती बाड़ी संबंधी सलाह है।
I'm getting late now. I wish like my government services, Home Gap could also help me in paying my bill.
Hello. Yes, of course. You can pay all the utility bills like mobile, electricity, DTH, gas.
इस मुल्क के सारा काम आप ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੀ ABCD नहीं आती।
कोई गल नहीं जी पाजी, मुल्क दी 13 जुबाना च तुहाडा काम हो जाऊगा।
हाँ जी?
हाँ जी।
Oh, you're great. But with hundreds of services within you, won't my phone hang?
I'm slim and trim. I occupy space of only one single app. There I come. Bring power in your palm. Download me to experience the spirit of new digital India.
May I request you all to kindly take your seats? I request you all to kindly take your seats. Kindly get seated. As India is progressing on the journey of digital India, it is critical to ensure safety and security of our critical infrastructure, citizens and institutions in cyberspace. Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India has brought together a consortium of industry security experts to launch Cyber Surakshit Bharat program. It will give you an idea of what can happen if we do not take proactive step. So let us look at this video and think about it.
India is rapidly going digital. The government's Digital India vision is transforming the economy and revolutionizing industry, education, and infrastructure. Over the last decade, there have been an alarming number of financial frauds and identity thefts, mainly because of weak or shared passwords. The outcome? In an instant, all your life savings could get wiped away. You could spend years and years recovering from that loss. If you make the mistake of using your personal ID to send out official emails, a hacker can easily access that information. He's looking for that one vulnerable machine that hasn't been updated, for sensitive information that hasn't been protected, for an identity that can be easily compromised. What if that information fell into the wrong hands? It could have disastrous consequences. Recently, a botnet-driven attack on a country's power grid system triggered a power system shutdown that lasted for days. If a similar attack was to be launched in a country with larger, densely populated cities, one that affected the city.
We extend a very warm welcome to the Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India, Srimati Sushma Swaraj. Very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We extend a warm welcome to Srimati Sushma Swaraj, External Affairs Minister, Government of India. Honorable Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Law and Justice, Government of India, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. We also welcome on the dais Shri Ajay Sahani, Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Dr. Ajay Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Shri Sanjeev Gupta, President and CEO, Digital India Corporation, Ms. Devjani Ghosh, Designate President, NESCOM, Mr. Michael Walma, Cyber Forum Policy Coordinator, Canadian Policy of Foreign Affairs, Patricia Zorko, Director, Ministry of Security and Justice, Netherlands Government, and Sri Sanjay Kumar Verma, Additional Secretary, Cyber Diplomacy, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. I now invite Shri Sanjeev Gupta, President and CEO, Digital India Corporation, to kindly give the welcome note.
Respected External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, Honorable Minister for Electronics and IT, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Shri Ajay Sahani, Secretary METI, Ajay Kumar, Secretary, Additional Secretary METI, other dignitaries on the dais, and the valiant and versatile team GCCS. I welcome all the dignitaries from around the world for this valedictory ceremony. I would like to read out a couple of small data points. It's been a wonderful exercise preparing for this whole event, and this open format of participation and invitation has resulted in 139 countries, representing more than 95% population of the world. These many people actually applied and registered. There were 10,365 registrations. There were 500 plus requests for being a speaker. There were 236 hackathon contestants from around the world, plus of course about 400 from India. We had, for the Honorable Prime Minister's speech alone, there were 10,000 plus locations on webinar or video conferencing or the live YouTube, 10,000 plus locations around the world. And as we close the session of parallel sessions and plenary sessions, tens of thousands of people joined from different points of the world in groups or as individuals to ask questions from remote parts of the world who couldn't participate here. The web application, I'm very glad when I went around the table, we found that everybody enjoyed using the web application. There was continuous updation on real-time basis, and we had about 50 odd appointments using the appointment fixing applications from among the participants who had no one-on-one or pre-scheduled meetings. They fixed their appointments using this app. It's been a very useful kind of a deliberation all across. And I must thank all the participants from around the world for making it such large numbers, making it the biggest ever conference on cyberspace anywhere in the world in terms of real participation as well as virtual participation. Virtual is about tens of thousands in addition. In the end, I would like to pay my regard to the entire team GCCS, which worked wonders over a period of 3 months. They stood like a rock, and that's how this conference is delivered. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May I now invite Ms. Devjani Ghosh, President-designate NESCOM, to kindly summarize the deliberations on Cyber for Growth theme.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, Honorable Minister of Electronics and IT and Law and Justice, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, respected dignitaries on stage, and dear friends. I'm going to sum up the sessions that happened across the 2 days on cyber growth, and I'll start with a very powerful quote that was made by our Minister, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, about what is cyber growth. He says, "When I see a mouse and a laptop in the hands of a rural girl child, I call that cyber growth." That was the vision that set the context for all the discussions that happened across the 2 days. And it was also the vision that had tremendous resonance across every session that we had on cyber growth. There was strong agreement that technology has evolved as the greatest equalizer that we have ever seen, and cyber growth must be inclusive growth. There is no other option. It must enable aspiration, delivery, accountability, and engagement for all. The Minister also pointed out another fact. When you drive advances in technology and it starts benefiting the citizens, what you see is exponential growth and not incremental growth. One data point, India today has 9.6 million online transactions per day versus 1.6 to 2 million just 3 to 4 years back. That's the power of technology and the exponential growth that it can deliver, which was discussed in a lot of the sessions. There was also a lot of discussion about the role of the government, and it was felt across speakers that the government has to get out of its comfort zone and they have to transform from a regulator to an enabler and a true catalyst of cyber growth, which will require governments to reach out to the industry and other stakeholders to form a multi-stakeholder approach. It was strongly agreed that the job of transformation cannot be done alone. All players have to come together to make the internet open, affordable, secure, and accessible for all. It was acknowledged that digital transformations are by no means easy. They bring tremendous challenges. Investment in capacity development, especially skills and infrastructure, was called out as a must-do for success. Another key challenge called out was privacy and security. Everyone agrees that data is at the heart of a digital transformation. There was also agreement that it is the government's role to work with the industry and create a very robust policy framework across the data value chain that ensures that citizens can share data and reap the maximum benefit from it with minimum risks. The need for innovation was called out and discussed at large length as an urgent success imperative, and many speakers recommended the need for a robust startup ecosystem to drive innovation that is needed for a digital economy. Several speakers recommended that countries should join hands, cross borders, join hands, and work towards regional and global goals. Last but not the least, I will end with one more comment from our minister's speech, where he said that digital transformation is more about mindsets than technology. If we invest today in changing the mindset, we will create the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. May I now request Mr. Michael Vollmer, Cyber Foreign Policy Coordinator, Canadian Policy of Foreign Affairs, to kindly summarize the deliberation on Cyber for Inclusion theme.
Thank you very much. Thank you, honorable ministers. I greet you. Thank you for the wonderful hospitality you've shown us. On behalf of the Government of Canada, allow me to express my appreciations for all that you have done and all that you have accomplished here. The discussion on cyber for inclusion was a very lively one. It is clearly an issue that touches upon the interests of everyone that attended this conference. It elicited a great deal of discussion, a great deal of debate, and a lot of new ideas. The discussion was extremely rich and very difficult to capture in any sort of a comprehensive way. The discussion was very wide-ranging and a number of viewpoints were expressed. Allow me to try and capture some of the elements. If I don't do them entire justice, please forgive me. First off, it was recognized that ICT is a great enabler which provides development for all. Privatization of the core infrastructures like telecoms will help to penetrate the reach of ICTs to the last mile. The aim is, of course, to digitize the country so that the gap between rich and poor can be bridged. ICT will facilitate a robust e-governance system which will help to reduce corruption and increase government revenues. Digital payment systems will help to remove middlemen, and the digitization and the access to property records will enable further economic growth. It is recognized that the digital revolution will create millions of jobs, making life better for people in remote and rural areas. However, issues like scalability, inclusion, future-proofing, and uniqueness were identified as the overarching goals of digital identities in emerging nations. The objectives of sustainable development essentially need to be fulfilled by cost-effective practices of establishing digital identities, but also requires trust by the population in the practices, and that this will enhance the efficiencies of the governing system. And the emphasis was placed on the inclusion of minimal data transfer to smooth the process. There were some concerns expressed about potential breaches of privacy, but their assurances were given that not even a single breach of the Aadhaar data has taken place to date, and there was some caution about the possible misuse of social and other forms of media in spreading misapprehensions. It was recognized that new technologies do not necessarily come from big companies only, but even from small and medium entrepreneurs, all of whom can have fantastic ideas. But there are also challenges like lack of digital infrastructure and affordability of services, lack of the availability of devices and applications, lack of coordination, and of economic equality. Technology versus business and information versus knowledge and data in respect of data-based business models. It was seen that currency through which consumers pay for free services was in fact being engaged. There's an information influx or an overload. It was said that 50,000 gigabytes of internet traffic per second is being observed. We are going from an information age to a knowledge age. In order to be able to take advantage of that transition, we need tools to make sense of that information, and access to those tools will determine the ability to access knowledge. Therefore, accessibility is a key issue. Digital Unite example was given as an opportunity for building public opinion by facilitating the instant dissemination of information to permit and connect and promote the interaction with like-minded people across the world. There are challenges, however, to inclusive growth, fairness and transparency, security and privacy among them. Key insights and lessons include the need for frugal innovation, the creative use of low-cost technology with social engineering, transparent and open measurement and evaluation methods. Technology can be an amplifier and a substitute for human ability, but the poor as producers rather than consumers of information. This needs to be addressed. There is a distinction that needs to be drawn between technology for need and technology for want. And also there needs to be a better understanding of illiteracy not just in the traditional sense, but also as a lack of cognitive skills. And this might entail a radical redesign in our thinking. Internet for All contributes to digital inclusion, and the free and open internet helps to create a more inclusive society promoting equal opportunity across genders, race, geography, and physical abilities. There are, however, challenges, particularly for users in rural, regional, and isolated areas to be able to get access at a reasonable price. The issues around net neutrality were also raised. The decision by the FCC to reconsider the rules on net neutrality were cited. There are concerns that the reduction in the openness of the internet and the allowance of telcos to develop an advantage in this space could contribute to greater profits while disadvantaging new entrants and those who do not have the resources. It was said by some that net neutrality is an imperative for development since the masses do not have the wherewithal to access resources that would otherwise be available to them in a neutral environment, whereas others, including extremists and criminals, would have the resources, financial or otherwise, to take advantage of such a system. And finally, the question of internet shutdowns was addressed, as well as the future of internet freedom vis-a-vis the growing cyber threats. And it was generally agreed that these issues had to be managed worldwide in a collaborative manner. Thank you.
Thank you. To summarize the deliberation on the theme Cyber for Security, may I invite now Ms. Patricia Zarko, Director, Ministry of Security and Justice, Netherlands Government.
Thank you. Dear ministers, ambassadors, delegates from all over the world, please allow me to start by thanking our Indian hosts for organizing the GCCS. As a former host from the GCCS in the city of The Hague in the Netherlands, it is good to see this large turnout and the strong results. The previous speakers addressed growth and inclusion. For these truly to take off, cybersecurity is a necessity. Special focus is on the protection of critical infrastructure. That was an important conclusion of the Cyber for Security track. It was also noted that cybersecurity and scientific research on it is still a young field. And as Prime Minister Modi, Mr. Modi said yesterday, alertness towards cybersecurity concerns should become a way of life, but we are still growing. To get there, it needs more investment, and it will surely mature further in the coming years. To speed up this development, it is important to share the information and insights we already have. This needs to be done in a multi-stakeholder setting, involving broad participation from government, industry, academia, and netizens, male and female. Fora like the GCCS and the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise are very valuable for this. One of the challenges the stakeholders face is combating illegal content. And it was noted that additional thinking on what it is and what is not illegal is needed in a global and in an inclusive process. All participants in the Cyber for Security track are looking forward to working with you in the coming years to tackle this and other challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I now invite Mr. David Martinon to give the summary of the deliberation on cyber for diplomacy. He is Ambassador for Cyber Diplomacy and Digital Economy, Europe.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I would like first to thank the organizers for this wonderful conference and the invitation and the privilege of speaking before such an audience. We have, during this panel, approached a few questions about cyber diplomacy, and notably the role and the work and the record of the group of governmental experts of the UN. And basically I would like just to convey three messages which will be attempts to answer three questions. What have we done? What should we do? How could we do it? So first, what have we done? There is a general consensus among the 5 former experts of the group of governmental experts who were discussing earlier that the record is good, that there is an excellent base for future work, that some great achievements have been made, notably the recognition of the applicability of international law to the cyberspace. We've done some good job on capacity building measures. We've done a good job on confidence building measures and on the production of norms of good behavior for states. So again, this is considered as a consensus as a very good base. What should we do now? Several ideas. Our former American colleague, Chris Painter, said that probably the emphasis should be put on the way we make sure that those who don't respect the norms of behavior that we have been producing should know it and should be, in a way, sanctioned. This is the kind of mission that we would need to pursue now. Our Russian colleague said that we should probably work on a UN resolution in order to make those lessons and those principles universalized and universally known and acknowledged. I personally said that we should work on several new topics, new challenges that the cyberspace and the global community is facing, notably by better defining the role and the responsibilities of private actors in the cyberspace, on the question of non-proliferation of cyber arms, cyber weapons, on the questions of reverse hacking, and on the question of the safety, the security of software goods that in a way constitute the sort of digital battlefield that enables conflicts to happen in the cyberspace. How should we do it? How should we continue to work on those topics? Well, first of all, our colleague from Kenya insisted on the fact that the process needs to be inclusive. It needs to be inclusive because developing countries have a lot of hope in that process, and they have a lot of hope, great expectations in the digitalization of the world, and they don't want to be let aside in that very process. Our German friend and colleague, Carsten Geier, who was the chair of the last GG, evoked some possibilities in order to organize our future works, some part of the UN system, some outside the UN, the United Nations system. And by saying that, I would like to add that our Russian colleague expressed his will that this work should remain in the realm of the United Nations. This is basically, Chair, what we have been discussing earlier this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I request Secretary, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India, Shri Ajay Sani, to kindly give an overview of GCCS 2017.
Respected Srimati Sushma Swaraj ji, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, respected Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, Honorable Minister for Law and Justice, Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be speaking in the closing moments of the 5th GCCS 2017, New Delhi, which has seen a gathering of eminent personalities who have come from all over the world. They include very, very distinguished speakers representing governments, the industry, academia, civil society, as well as the media. I am delighted to say that the Global Conference on Cyberspace, since it started in London in 2011, has grown tremendously, both in terms of participation and the spectrum of issues that are being discussed, and the depth to which the discussions are going on. The 5th conference has seen a remarkable number of more than 3,900 delegates being physically present in the conference. And what was interesting was that even yesterday, even after the opening session and today, we were still getting further requests for being delegates in this conference, and many more were approved by us. We had more than 800 international delegates, 26 ministers from various countries, more than 950 delegates from the industry, more than 170 from the world of academia, from civil society, and around 200 representing the media. What is of even further satisfaction is that several thousand people joined the conference over cyberspace, which is very, very apt given the title of the conference, given the name of the conference, the Global Conference on Cyberspace. In this conference, we have covered a very broad agenda to promote an inclusive cyberspace, a cyberspace for all. Such a cyberspace must be free, open, inclusive, and secure. It must offer an ecosystem of trust so that everyone can continue to participate confidently and derive the maximum value from cyberspace in their life. The content and outcomes of the 4 tracks, cyber for growth, cyber for inclusion, cyber for security, and cyber for diplomacy, have already been very ably summarized, and you have heard those from the previous speakers. However, we must recognize that none of these tracks can be considered in isolation. They are deeply interrelated, and together they promise much better outcomes. Technology is now impacting every domain ever more deeply. Emerging technologies like augmented and virtual realities, the Internet of Things, big data and data analytics, machine learning and artificial intelligence, all of them transcend boundaries. They penetrate every economic domain, and they impact human lives in the real world as well as the virtual one. Whether the global community is dealing with existing technologies or building new ones, we will find that we cannot pursue growth in cyberspace without making it inclusive, keeping it secure, and deploying diplomacy to synergize our actions across the global community. I hope that this conference has helped all of us deepen our shared understanding of the issues as well as the options pertaining to the cyberspace, and these deliberations will help us move towards a more inclusive, cohesive, and a better cyberspace for all. Thank you and namaskar.
Thank you, Shri Ajay Sahni. Now, may I request the Honorable External Affairs Minister, Government of India, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, to kindly give the awards to the winners of technical poster competition. And the winners are Sanjeet Kumar Nayak of IIT Patna. Congratulations. He is from IIT Patna, Sanjeet Kumar Nayak. This is the technical poster competition. The next award goes to Joyanta Basu of NIT Arunachal Pradesh. Next winner is Saranya MS from IIT Madras. Many, many congratulations to all the winners. Lots of good wishes. Vinod Kumar from Jamia Millia Islamia. Deepak Kshirsagar, IIT Roorkee. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. The Chairman of GCCS 2017, Honorable Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Law and Justice, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, has been the driving force for successfully organizing GCCS 2017. Sir, may I request you to kindly give a gist of GCCS 2017 and kindly address us.
Respected Srimati Sushma Swaraj, distinguished External Affairs Minister of India, distinguished colleague on the podium, Excellencies Minister, ladies and gentlemen, fellow delegates. As we come to the close of this extraordinary GCCS 2017, it is only appropriate that the very outstanding External Affairs Minister of India, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, is going to deliver the concluding address. She is not only a very senior leader of my party, the BJP, a very popular public figure of India, but she has laid down new benchmarks as a External Affairs Minister of great compassion. The respect she commands among the global community, the profound manner in which she articulates India's interest, including of global amity, is too well known. But since we are talking digital for the last 2 days, she has a very profound digital persona as well. And she uses that digital persona with compassion for public good as an External Affairs Minister. You may have known that India rescued a lot of Indians who were surrounded in strife to own countries. Because, as our PM says, every Indian is important for us. But in particular, I would like to mention 2-3 events. When the strife was going in Yemen, a lot of Indians were rescued. There was a lady, Saba Savesi. She was a Yemeni. She had just delivered a child. She tweeted to Sushma ji, "You have rescued every Indian. Would you rescue me too? I am married to an Indian. My child is 6 months old. Even though I am a Yemeni, but my child will hold an Indian passport." And she responded, even if you are not an Indian, you are the daughter-in-law of India, and I will stand to rescue you. And she was rescued. There was an Indian Muslim woman, Uzma, who fell in love with a Pakistani, married her and went to Pakistan. She was badly ill-treated, subjected to violence. One day, hearing about Sushma Swaraj's compassion, she somehow managed to read India's High Commission in Lahore. They asked, "Madam Sushma Swaraj, a very peculiar situation has arisen. What should we do?" She said, "She is the daughter of India. Give her full help." She was given full shelter in the Indian embassy. There was litigation also. Ultimately, the Pakistani High Court decided in her favor and she came back to India. That's how she stands with every Indian. And the third, which is very important, India is a big center of healthcare, even for expatriates, Middle East. Now, a lot of Pakistani want to come to India to have their treatment. And you know, our discord, I will not go into that. But even an ordinary Pakistani, if he or she tweets her, "Would we get Indian visa?" she steps in, regardless of our divide. For healthcare, Indian visa shall be given even to a Pakistani. Therefore, Sushma Swaraj, and we are very proud of her, the manner in which she has brought compassion to digital technology. Therefore, it's very important to be appreciated here. Madam, my warm greetings to you on behalf of my department which has organized this function. Yes, I'm very happy that GCCS 2017 Delhi became the biggest conference, surpassing all estimates. Ajay Sani just mentioned the numbers. I don't want to repeat that. But as the minister of this department, I wish to congratulate the entire team which has worked so ceaselessly for the last many months to make it a great success. A compliments to all of you. We are debating technology and cyber security for the last 2 days. India's digital story and profound digital activity was also conveyed to you by the Prime Minister, by me, by other speakers. But as I said yesterday, Let me repeat today, India is also a land of creativity, diversity, and also compassion. And our entire digital footprint is loaded with compassion, and therefore we have always said digital India will be successful only when it is with digital inclusion. And I'm indeed very happy. I wish to compliment all the delegates that in their deliberations they have taken inclusion to be an important component of digital spread. I had also mentioned that our Indian story is one of transformation, of empowerment through digital technology. And this transformation and empowerment will happen only when internet is available. Therefore, access is important. Let us not go into any debate. We must collectively ensure that access is available. That's the second point we have said. And I'm happy all of you have taken that particular observations on board. And the third, if internet is required to transform, internet is required to empower, internet is required to be available for change, it must be safe and secure. And therefore, as the chair of this conference, as I said earlier, 3 Ds are important: digital access, digital inclusion, and digital security. Let these 3D become an important component of CGS, I would like to highlight. It is the ICANN team is also here. After India supported the multi-stakeholder model, I was very happy to note when I spoke from video conference in the Argentina ICANN conference that we support the multi-stakeholder model. There was a big shift towards the multi-stakeholder model. Why we said so? Internet has happened because of the industry, because of the academia, because of the civil society, and because of the government. And therefore, multi-stakeholder model is a natural culmination of this process. I am very happy all the multi-stakeholder model are present here today. Ministers, industry, academia, the civil society, and the activists. That's what a great success I would like to highlight today. New technologies will come. I will be very briefly reading the chair's comment. The details one is there on web, you will go through it. But few points we must keep in mind for future growth. New technology is going to become a big blessing for us. We have to be on the guard. It doesn't become a bane for us. It should remain a boon for us. For my ministers, excellencies who have come from abroad and delegates, I would like to give just 2 data. In India, IoT devices today, which are 200 million today, are expected to rise to 2.7 billion by 2020. That is what the new area of technology we are focusing about. And according to industry estimates, the jobs in robotics and machine learning, artificial intelligence, have increased 50% during the current years. And as regards the data, the same is poised to be a 4.7 billion US dollars, 30,000 crore industry by 2018, the next year. That is how India is leveraging the new technology, the potential. Yes, I'm happy the Excellency, the Minister of Iran, His Excellency, the Minister of England, in our bilaterals talked about the need for data safety and security. And India, we are involved in a big exercise under the chairmanship of a former Supreme Court Judge, Justice Sri Krishna, to have a sound and robust data protection law. We are involved in a stakeholder consultation, and I wish to assure that being an important player in the field of digital ecosystem, India very soon will come with a very robust data protection law which will recognize privacy, which will recognize the worth of individual, which will recognize digital initiative and also give innovation a big footprint. That is how we need to blend. But as I said yesterday, as I said, repeat today, and let this be a guiding principle, that if we agree that internet should not be abused by few for terrorism, radicalization, corruption or other things, the plea of privacy should not be used by the terrorist and the corrupt to shield, to cover their misdeeds. That's also we'll have to take on board. Lastly, yes, very rightly, mention was made of human rights. We respect human rights. Why not? India is a free country. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression is a constitutional right. We acknowledge human rights, and privacy also is a part of that. But remember one thing, the biggest challenge comes to human rights also in the present world from those terrorists who were cornered, talk of their own human right, but are completely silent when their victims get suffering at their end. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, today is also the occasion to think. Human right is welcome, but what about the human rights of the victim of terrorism? That is also an occasion for you to reflect when we reflect upon the future scenario. These are some of the observations. I will very briefly, in 3-4 minutes, read the chairman's statement. The elaborate one is there on the web, you will get it. Cyber for growth. The conference highlighted the use of new technology has a major potential for transformation of governance structure of future. Artificial intelligence, IoT, data analytics, robotic and virtual reality are transforming global business and economies. We appreciate the need to develop proper policy environment with open and free cyberspace. We noted with satisfaction that governments around the world are leveraging digital platform and building digital infrastructure to transform how they deliver public services and support to citizens, enabling participative, bottom-up citizens' engagement and anytime, anywhere service delivery with disadvantaged communities. Cyberspace remains a key area for innovation. Startups are providing solutions to common everyday problems. The global investor community must recognize the immense potential waiting to be tapped. The global economy is becoming increasingly dependent on cyberspace and digital technology. It is important to give primacy to human face of technology in this context. Cyber for digital inclusion. The conference stressed the fact that inclusiveness is the bedrock of sustainability. This calls for a program-based approach with focus on access programs, digital skills, training, community technology, spaces, and low-cost access devices. India's MyGov initiative is an example of how digital technology could be tools of effective citizen engagement. Cyber for security. Securing the cyberspace has become one of the biggest challenges in the present day. Nations must take responsibility to ensure that digital space does not become a playground for the dark forces of terrorism and radicalization. We recognize that we must coordinate our security services in order to detect and deter attacks. We need to create the fine balance between privacy and openness on one hand and national security on the other. Together, we can overcome the differences between global and open system on one hand and nation-specific legal requirement on the other. Cyber for diplomacy. The extensive use of cyberspace by states to carry out its legitimate activities, including services delivery of its citizens, has thrown up new challenges in terms of establishing norms of responsible state behavior, handling cybercrime through transnational cooperation, and resolving conflicts in cyberspace. Cyber diplomacy in digital age can be used as a tool to promote economic growth, development of technology to ensure an open source, interoperable and accessible cyberspace to all. Conclusion and way forward. Cyberspace is a public recourse, improving the quality of life of individual, improving the reach and productivity of business and effectiveness of governments. Technology breaks barriers. India emphasizes the need for creation of a digital platform which would enable various stakeholders to address potential information and communication technology gaps and harness information and communication technology for sustainable development. There is particularly the need for finding scalable models and innovative solutions in education and health using digital technology. There is also the need to make cyberspace an enabler for differently abled. To facilitate this, India will enable a digital knowledge sharing platform which will help in sharing of knowledge and expertise between different countries. The large multi-stakeholder participation at this event is proof of the global endorsement that this platform has received. India calls upon nation states, the industry, academia and civil society to work towards a formal collaborative framework. This will enable a secure cyberspace with improved quality of life. That is the chair statement. In substance, embodies the essence of discussions. I am sure next year when we meet, or the year thereafter, we will have a formal cyberspace architecture in place to become a big moment and a big movement for a safe, secure, inclusive cyberspace. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. It is indeed our privilege to have amongst us today the Honorable External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj. May I request you, Madam, to kindly address us and show us the way forward.
Yes. हटा दो. उधर भी तो दिख रहा होगा ना? उधर भी दिख रहा है ना? बस ठीक है तो चलने.
नहीं लोग देखेंगे नहीं चल रहा है. Get both the remove side पर. ठीक है इधर कर दो. या एक को हटा दो बस एक को हटा दो.
ठीक है.
इसको हटाना इसको हटाना. Kindly remove this, huh? Remove this. Just remove this. बस इधर घस दो, right hand. और हटा दो.
तार बार आएगी छोड़ो.
चलो ठीक है बस छोड़ दो. I hope it is okay. चलिए ठीक है.
My esteemed colleague, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Minister for Electronics and IT and Minister for Law and Justice. Ms. Patricia Zorko, Director, Ministry of Security and Justice, Government of Netherlands. Mr. Michael Walma, Cyber Foreign Policy Coordinator, Canadian Policy of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador David Martinon from France. Ms. Devyani Ghosh, President-designate NASSCOM. Officers on the dais, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be present here for sharing my thoughts with you on this important subject. At the outset, I would like to congratulate my dear brother Ravi for organizing this conference in India. Friends, it is a great pleasure to note that this is the first time when this conference is taking place outside the OECD nations. This shows the growing importance of India in the world space and the increasing confidence in India under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Today, as we conclude one of the biggest conferences on cyberspace, we become part of a historical process that began in 2011 with the London Conference. with over 3,000 delegates participating in person, an equal number through webinars and hackathons. The GCCS 2017 has become a process that has initiated several conversations on the complex issues in cyberspace and carried forward the debate on most pressing issues facing cyberspace. We have moved ahead from only cybersecurity to the security of the cyberspace, using tools of diplomacy and international cooperation. Friends, our aim during the conference and through the several side events was to gather round the table the most knowledgeable experts on the subject, and it helped us to share knowledge, enhance common understandings, and build consensus on possible policy options for meeting the current and future challenges in cyberspace. We hope that the intense discussions during various sessions have enriched the debate, identified the threats that need resolution, and paved the way for more enlightened debate in future. Cyberspace, as we all know, is a complex domain that goes beyond our understanding of traditional domains of land, sea, air, and space, and its unique attributes present its own set of opportunities and challenges. The increasing use of information and communication technologies has not only generated social awareness, accelerated economic development, improved delivery of service to the citizens, and placed unprecedented power and information at the hands of an individual. It has also led to social and economic transformations of nations and changed the way people communicate with each other and carry out their businesses. India's own far-reaching journey of transformation gives pride of place to our people. Our national programs of Digital India, Clean Ganga, Renewable Energy, Smart Cities, Housing for All, and Skill India are laying the basis for inclusive development. Our government is committed to using the cyber and digital platforms to foster growth and empowerment of the people, to an open, interoperable, secure, free, and reliable cyberspace environment. Promote the Internet as an engine for innovation, economic growth, and trade and commerce. Promote the free flow of information. Promote cooperation between and among the private sector and government authorities on cyber crime and cyber security, and respect cultural and linguistic diversity. Friends, this commitment has translated into the vision of Digital India under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. Digital India holds the potential to truly transform India from a developing into a developed knowledge economy, and my dear brother Ravi is leading this project. Distinguished guests, the Digital India program is focused on 3 key vision areas. 1, infrastructure as a utility to every citizen. 2, governance and services on demand. And 3, digital empowerment of citizens. The very dynamic and evolving nature of cyberspace has brought cyber issues to the center stage of development polity, crime prevention and investigation, expansion of economy and trade, and finally to the subject of national and international security. The fact that almost all activities, political, social, economic, and development, which are now conducted in and connected to cyberspace, has not only expedited the pace of growth, but also brought forth a new set of challenges for which no preset solutions exist. The lack of borders in cyberspace and the anonymity of the actors has ensured that the traditional concepts of sovereignty, jurisdiction, and privacy are challenged. The technological revolution has outspaced our collective capacities to redefine our understanding of these issues. And the global community, which has so far been too enamored by the benefits of cyberspace, is beginning to wake up to its threats. Huge conglomeration of cyber experts in forum such as the Global Conference on Cyberspace, is a testimony of the fact that the nations need to engage with each other to redefine concepts and align traditional processes to the new paradigms. India is committed to the objective of having an open, safe, secure, inclusive, democratic, and dynamic cyberspace that responds swiftly to challenges. It will also promote social, economic, and all-round development and prosperity of nations. Our hosting of GCCS 2017 is a reflection of our commitment. The debate on the challenges of cyberspace now occupies considerable space in global conversations on international security, while differing perspectives of countries to meet these complex challenges has inserted a significant element of geopolitics into the issue. The growing significance of the cyber issues in international arena cannot be exaggerated. It is reflected in the growing conversations across the world at all high-level summits, interactions, and conferences. Friends, there is hardly a meeting between the heads of states which goes without a discussion on cyber issues. Points to the growing penetration, significance, and criticality of Internet to the social, economic, and cultural lives of the nations. The linking of devices and the growing Internet of Things has made cyber issues as a critical aspect of both cyber security and development politics. Moreover, even as the peaceful uses of ICTs have fueled the expansion and growth of cyberspace, penetrating and connecting the lives of citizens across the globe, cyberspace has also been infiltrated by malicious actors looking out for opportunities to exploit vulnerabilities. The anonymity, borderless spaces, and speed have helped these elements to carry out nefarious activities ranging from cyber espionage, concerted attacks on networks, data theft, infringement of privacy, and extremist propaganda, to name a few. Friends, crime syndicates and terrorist organizations now leverage malicious tools in cyberspace to carry out complex crimes, posing considerable challenges to the law enforcement agencies. The disappearance of the traditional concepts of borders and the speed of proliferation of crime has heightened the need to enter into agreements and arrangements among countries for cooperation at various levels. Further, as more and more developing countries take to digital space to carry out developmental activities, new mechanisms for international cooperation need to be evolved. The conference theme took into account these varied aspects and planned its sessions around the theme of digital inclusion, cyber security, cyberspace as a tool for accelerating implementation of sustainable development and promotion of cyber diplomacy. These themes would help settle the complex questions of applicability of international law to cyberspace, norms of responsible behavior of states. As nations engage with each other at various bilateral and multilateral forums across the globe, it is clear that cyber issues is more than a discussion on cyber security, cyber crime, internet governance, and technical matters related to the functionality of the internet. Above all, discussions on cyber issues are about cyber diplomacy, the art and the skill of political alignments, and the role of the states in promoting transnational cooperation and contributing to international peace and stability. It is imperative that the states engage with each other diplomatically in increasing instances of cyber attacks to diffuse tensions arising in the wake of challenges of attribution. The issues of sovereignty among the states, data access, data jurisdiction, the growing threat of militarization of cyberspace, the need for confidence building, capacity building to bridge the digital divide, cyber espionage, cyber weapons, and applicability of international law in cyberspace are issues that require concerted diplomatic attention. We want to ensure that digital space is a safe space. Our government has been committed to developing capacity building in cyber security and cyber security research and development. While we recognize the prime role of governments in cyber security matters relating to national security, we also believe that the cyberspace should not become the monopoly of a few. Our government has taken steps to promote international security and stability in cyberspace through a framework that recognizes the applicability of international law, in particular the UN Charter. We are committed to a multi-stakeholder approach of Internet governance that is transparent and accountable to its stakeholders, including governments, academia, civil society, and industry. In this regard, I particularly wish to appreciate the very productive, lively, and intense debate that were witnessed in the sessions of cyber diplomacy. I am very happy to know that many authorities in their respective fields were able to join these sessions and contribute richly to the global conversation. I hope that these debates will gather further momentum in the times to come, and that GCCS 2017 will be remembered for the rich debates, its wide and enthusiastic participation, and the launch of India's initiative of the Digital Knowledge Sharing Platform, that is DKSP. In fact, the Digital Knowledge Sharing Platform seeks to be more than a capacity building platform, complementing the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, an outstanding initiative by our last hosts, the Government of Netherlands, and of which India is a co-chair. DKSP seeks to be an online platform to exchange information on best practices and to showcase successful projects around the world, which have advanced the cause of successful online delivery of service to citizens, used Internet as a tool of social and economic development, and used innovative ways to use ICTs to advance the cause of global peace, security, and prosperity. In fact, we hope that DKSP will contribute our efforts to bring about digital inclusion as a subject India is very passionate about. Before I conclude, I would like to convey my heartfelt appreciation to all the participants who, by their very presence, have demonstrated their commitment to the cause of global peace, security, and prosperity. Our gratitude is to the members of the six-state countries who have been our constant companions for the past 1 year in this journey, as we took on the challenge of organizing a mammoth conference such as the GCCS. Their ready availability and advice and their willingness to offer their expertise based on their past experience to host this conference is deeply appreciated, and we assure you that as India joins this prestigious group, we will continue to contribute significantly to this process. Once again, I would like to thank my brother and colleague Sri Ravi Shankar Prasad for successfully organizing the largest such gathering, which has helped chart our future course. And what is our future course, friends? The motto of Prime Minister Modi's development is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and in the context of cyber, let us translate it to cyber for growth, cyber for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much. As a token of our respect, we want to present memento to Honorable Madam, Honorable Srimati Sushma Swaraj. May I request Shri Sanjeev Gupta, President and CEO, Digital India Corporation, to kindly present a memento to Honorable Madam Srimati Sushma Swaraj. As a token of our immense respect and to honor, I request Shri Ajay Sahni, Secretary in the Ministry, to kindly present a memento to Honorable Minister Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Additional Secretary in the Ministry, is now requested to kindly present a memento to Ms. Devjani Ghosh. Shri Sanjeev Gupta is now requested to present a memento to Mr. Michael Walmer. Mr. Sanjeev Gupta is again now requested to present memento to Ms. Patricia Zorko. Patricia, yeah. To Mr. David Martiner, Dr. Ajay Kumar. Sanjay Kumar ji, you are requested to present a memento to Shri Sanjay Verma. Sanjay Kumar Verma is Additional Secretary, Cyber Diplomacy, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Now I call upon Additional Secretary, Cyber Diplomacy, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, Shri Sanjay Kumar Verma, to propose vote of thanks.
Dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of everyone who participated in GCCS 2017, both physically and virtually, I express our collective thanks to Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, for committing the largest democracy in the world to the tools of cyberspace for effective governance while promoting inclusiveness as the key pillar. Our gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, for his gracious presence and sharing of his thoughts on the present and future of cyberspace in all of its facets, including its use as a tool in diplomacy. Our sincere thanks to Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, and Honorable Minister of Electronics and Information Technology and Law and Justice, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, for guiding and steering the conference under their able leadership. Thanks to Honorable Ministers from the respective participating countries who took time off from their busy schedules and made efforts to be here personally to take home the debates generated throughout the event. We are sure that the topics discussed here will become key points in their respective national debates as well. We also commend the work of all the keynote speakers, moderators, and panelists, without whom the debates generated during the conference would have been rudderless. Thanks to all the participants who were present here for taking the debate forward. Thanks are also due for all those who could not be present here in person but remained connected with the proceedings through digital modes. We would like to take this opportunity to thank all the communities who made this event possible through their interventions, suggestions, and deliberate actions in the true spirit of a multi-stakeholding approach. At the end, our sincere appreciation is also due for all the members of our organization team who tirelessly worked for the success of the conference despite severe time constraints. With this, I end my onerous duty to deliver the vote of thanks to this august gathering and wish you all safe travel back home. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So every good thing finally comes to an end, but this is a new beginning of our renewed commitments towards making the cyberspace more inclusive and secure. Thank you, Madam, for gracing this occasion. Thank you, sir. Thank you all the dignitaries on the dais for gracing this occasion. Thank you so much. Good luck. Namaskar. All the best to all of you. I request you to kindly join us for a cup of tea with the nice Indian delicious snacks. And I request buses are available outside at the gate. Delegates or the persons who are interested to go to CGO complex and Electronic Niketan can please proceed to catch the bus outside. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.